Alright, so I don't know if I want to make this a podcast or like a serious type of video or whatever, but I want to talk about Wicked for Good. So I have it in front of me. I'm not gonna say how because it's technically not out yet, but I feel like we know. Anyway, so what I'm gonna talk about, I'm gonna talk about the actual musicals itself. I'm gonna talk about the actors, and I'm gonna talk about the story. you know, People are saying that it's not as good as the first movie and stuff like that. People need to understand that Wicked isn't a happy movie or a stage play, whatever. It's actually really depressing. The books are depressing, the stage play is depressing, and the movie is depressing. Also, it's not really for children, because a lot of people were saying like there are certain scenes that were too much, and oh, it's not a children's movie. It never was. Okay, the song is about propaganda and fashion and politics, and just because there's like pink fairies, that doesn't mean that the movie is serious. And I was disappointed even at a lot of people's reaction in the cinema, but we're gonna talk about that. So Ariana and Cynthia, I guess. Let's lump them together. So they were both amazing. I really have no notes to say about these two actresses. Obviously, the second part is much more Glinda focused, and the first part is much more Cynthia focused, which is something normal. I don't know how are they gonna submit to the Academy. Is Cynthia technically, because in the first movie she was the main actress, is she going to submit it in the Academy as the main actress? Because here's the thing, Hollywood is racist, and obviously there's an EGOT situation. How Cynthia is probably going to be the youngest person to win an EGOT, and I do believe that she will get an EGOT. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. I stole that from a fellow YouTuber. I don't remember his name because I've seen a lot of Wicked videos that but I think if they submit Cynthia as the lead role in this movie, I don't think she's gonna get it because she's not really the main role. It's Glinda. This is Glinda's movie, so I think if they submit her as the main actress, I don't think she's gonna win. If they submit her as the best supporting actress, I think she might get a chance to win. I think if Ariana is, I think Ariana will win an Oscar. Regardless if she's submitted as a lead or a best supporting actress, I think she will win it. Because at the end of the day, the Oscars are a popularity competition, as we've seen last year with the whole Amelia Perez situation.
Man to woman.
From penis to vagina.
People don't even watch the movies. The Academy, like the people who vote, don't even watch the movies itself. So it's like, oh, Jimmy told me that Wicked was good, so I'm gonna say Wicked is the best movie. That's literally how they vote. Why do they have credentials? I don't know. For some reason, this is like upheld as like the biggest accolade for like a movie ever. Which, can someone explain why? Maybe back in the day they were good, but like now, I stopped watching the Oscars 10 years ago because like it's just like I remember watching, and it's just horrible. It's clear, even as a child I was like, okay, this is clearly factually stupid. So I just had to get this Oscar talk out of the way so that we can continue with it. Jesus. So let's see who's next. I have my notes in front of me. So I want to talk about Ethan Slater. Ethan, as I mean, spoiler alert, the Tin Man. He was amazing to the point where I would not be mad if they, obviously they're not going to do it, but if they were to cast him as a best supporting actor, am I crazy? Because I feel like he was so good in this. I don't want to say he was like better than Cynthia and Ariana, but there are certain moments where I was like, this is like Oscar worthy, And I'm not surprised because of his whole like, he is successful in his field, which is like everything, stage play and stuff, like SpongeBob, obviously, So it is, to me, I guess I was surprised because I wasn't familiar with his work, but Extremely, an extremely professional actor, and he really delivered. I kind of thought he would be a joke, to be honest, but no, he really was, good. I don't want, I'm trying to like not compare, but it's really hard. Anyway, Marissa, the actress who played the Wicked Witch of the East, a lot of people are shitting on her as well. I've noticed. I am going to disagree with these people as well. I think that Marissa did a great job. I absolutely hate the Wicked Witch of the East as a character, and I hate looking at her. And because Marissa made me hate her, I think she did a good job. Like that, she was paid to be the villain, and she delivered. And people hate her because of her character, because she was like a villain, so she did a good job. So I kind of don't agree with people saying like how she wasn't, how they hate her, or somehow I don't know. Sometimes people cannot separate the, I guess, the character from the actor. But yeah, I'll say that Marissa definitely did a good job. And Marissa, if you're watching this, you're probably not. Do not listen to these trolls. You did amazing. We'll get your singing though, but you did a very good job. Jeff Goldblum as the wizard. Jeff was just playing Jeff, so listen, I don't mind, because like, oh, Jeff is charming. We all love Jeff, right? But at the end of the day, Jeff was playing himself, so take that as you may, but hey, I enjoyed it. We'll get to the singing as well. Alright. So the big controversy, Michelle Yeoh. People were saying how she was miscast, and people are saying how miscast is not technically a word. I'm not really a cunning linguistics, so I don't know if that's like the word or whatever, but all I'm gonna say is she did what she could. She warned the production. This was not her fault. In my opinion, this was the fault of the director John M. Chu, which, if anyone did a bad job, I think John is to blame for most bad decisions in this movie. I like the actors. I like the costume people who won an Oscar last year, the makeup people who won the Oscars last year, the choreographers on Instagram. Everyone was amazing, but just like John just had like really bad decisions. For example, The Wizard of Oz, right? Technicolor, the first movie in color, bright colors, ruby red slippers. Okay, so colorful. And he, correct me if I'm mistaken, so he said that this is, now we're talking for the first Wicked, he chose to make it more plain, like the colors more plain. He didn't want the colors to be vibrant. And we were talking about Wicked, as in like Oz. So someone please tell me, how is that a good decision? Anyway, of course, this is a video for Wicked for Good, but I'm just saying, like, there are many bad decisions that he did. Casting Michelle Yeoh was one of those. I get it. I'm on TikTok, so I know the Asian representation, and I don't mind. Shit, make it a full Asian cast. I don't care. It's just like there are other Asian actresses who can sing. Michelle did an amazing job. Acting wise, she's amazing, and I don't mind her that much in this, but I want to address the controversy. So it's fine. At the end of the day, it's fine, Michelle, you did the best. This is just not your competition. This would be like me trying to play no, I don't know, sure, basketball, me trying to play the piano. What the fuck do I know about playing the piano? So it's kind of like that. So yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, okay, so let's talk about the movie. So I'm having a movie in front of me just to like recap. So the movie opens as like the propaganda is in full effect. Elphaba is fighting for a good cause, while Glinda is like sitting in her palace enjoying the life of privilege. Yada yada yada, as we know. Okay, so we're gonna wait to see if something happens. Also, I want to say how, like, looking at the movie right now in front of me, Do you guys notice how the relationship between Fierro and Glinda is kind of predatory? I don't think, did they ever said that they were gonna be in a relationship? Because it seems like Glinda saw Fierro in the first movie, and she's like, "You're gonna be my boyfriend," and that's it. He didn't really had a choice, you know. He was just there. And the second movie, when she was like, "Oh, how does it feel being engaged and stuff like that?" And he's like, "We're engaged." He's not really. He seems like the type of boyfriend to be constantly like in office, working to like avoid his personal life. So, which of course, as if you're being forced into a relationship, I can see why that's happening. But the whole like pressure of Fierro having to be in a relationship with Glinda is it feels rapey. I don't know. I just feel like Fierro is a victim. So yeah, that's definitely something that I kind of really hated. Okay, by the way, I'm watching the movie right now, and the No Place Like Home. This was probably one of the most emotional songs for me, because I had a different reaction when I was watching not the first part, and when I was watching the second part as well. People, of course, were crying when seeing For Good, and I'm not gonna shit on you for crying, while witnessing For Good. But it's just like, if I was gonna cry, I'm gonna cry for like No Place Like Home or No Good Deed. No Good Deed for me was very emotional, but we'll get to there. I want to talk about Marissa's whole Wicked Witch of the East situation. So I feel like this song is extremely underrated. Um, just People do not like this song, and it's one of my favorites. Could Marissa have like amped it up? Sure. I just think this character really does deserve justice. The actress did an amazing job. She portrayed Nessa didn't portray her horribly. She portrayed her as she was supposed to portray her, as a horrible person. So, it's just like, everything is well for me. I don't know why people are so mad. Like, if you're gonna be mad at these stupid production choices. Don't be mad at like the actress. Also, I just think it's funny, like a little Easter egg, when Elphaba came to visit Nessa, and she was wearing the silver shoes. Did you guys notice how her socks were the same socks as when the house fell on her during The Wizard of Oz? I just thought that was like very interesting. The scene where Bach turns into the Tin Man is amazing. This is true, like the whole musical and stuff like that. This is my favorite scene. One of my favorite scenes. I don't know, maybe even my favorite scene, because we see this desperate ass bitch, who's kind of truly evil, trying to be the victim, and like, please save my box, please, blah blah blah, and like literally installing fascism so that Bach cannot escape from her. You physically inflicted harm, and then you blamed Elphaba, like, oh, she did this to you, she turned you into a Tin Man. Jesus, she's very good at portraying the villain. And poor Elphaba, she cannot catch a break. But hey, I just really thought this scene was amazing. Ethan being so scary, this is actually a good decision. Making the Tin Man so scary, it was a very good decision, and I really like that. By the way, I am skipping to the parts where I like, because I'm not gonna comment on the whole movie. I'm not gonna be like, oh, the flowers are so pretty in this scene. Like, you guys don't give a shit about the flowers. Okay, so let's talk about Wonderful. So now we have Elphaba visiting the wizard with Glinda and stuff like that. So people were like, okay, why is Glinda there? Like in the original Broadway show, Glinda wasn't during the Wonderful. And at first I was like, okay, yeah, this is gonna be kind of weird. Like, why is she there and blah blah blah. But after like watching it, it kind of makes sense. Also, it is truly a tragedy why they casted Jeff to be the wizard, because like he's not a singer. He knows he's not a singer, but like I said, fuck John M. Chu and his bad decisions. But yeah, like just specific. Like here's the thing. My problem is I can't even listen because I have it on Spotify, and I can't even listen to certain parts because like I love Cynthia singing, but I hate Jeff's singing, and the part where he's like, oh god, why does that keep scaring me? He could not pronounce the U, like long overdue, blah blah alphabet, a celebration throughout us that's all to do with, and then he says, of course I'm not a singer, and here I am critiquing the people who, but yeah. He's like all to do with you, and then he's like you, and then he stops. And I really wish that there was an actor who was like all to do with you, and then really stretched that you know, because like the song was building up. Can you imagine if like the song was building up and then like the voice was building up, and just like the drop would be when they started singing "Wonderful," it would be so wonderful. But you know, when you're listening to it, it's like Jeff saying to you, and then that flops, but the song keeps rising. So you're just like, you're kind of waiting for that. Like, what's happening? So yeah, I like the version. It's just like I really wish that they did something with it. Because like, okay, we have AI. Can we like make Jeff sing better in AI? I know it's not ethical, blah blah blah. But if you're gonna use AI and waste water, use it on Jeff singing. I feel like that's justified. The way they play with colors is amazing in my opinion. Of course, the whole rainbow thing, it's nice. It's appealing to see. But you know, when Elphaba and Glinda are like on the broom, and then like they're playing with colors, and then Elphaba is no longer green because like the color that is casted is green, so it makes her not green, if that makes sense. It's just like, it's so charming. And them like dancing all together with the wizard and stuff like that, it's so cute. So yeah, I just like I thought that I was gonna hate because like when I was listening to the Broadway version, that song was kind of boring a little bit, but watching it in the movie, I like the scene itself. So yeah, I really enjoy that scene. Okay, and we see Elphaba setting the monkeys free, and then Chastry was like, "Yo, look," and pushes the secret door or whatever, and Elphaba goes in the secret door while Jeff is changing his clothes, or sorry, the wizard. And then we have this lovely scene which I like, which is like Glinda going down the aisle looking pretty as a bride, blah blah blah, and then Elphaba going in this nasty dark dungeon, also like shot side by side, well not side by side, but in a similar fashion, while Glinda has this like magical butterflies and like she looks beautiful and blah blah blah. And then we have Elphaba being in this dungeon, seeing all these animals in cages, and not only in cages but also like you need to understand, like these are not typical animals. These are like animals who could talk, so they were stripped of their humanity. They don't have clothes on. They can't speak anymore, so literally like stripped from their humanity, and it's really, I don't know, scary scene. And then we have obviously her being so shook, and then the wizard being like, "Oh, Elphaba, it's not really what you think. Not all animals are good and stuff like that, but you have to trust me." And Elphaba just loses her fucking shit. She's like, "You once asked me what my purpose in life is. Now I know. Like, my purpose in life now is to fight you until the very last day," or whatever she said. That scene, again, boom, one of my favorites. That was like the only scene I actually whipped out my phone to like record in the cinema, cause that was just like so powerful. Where she's like, "I'm gonna fucking kill you," but that's basically what she said. Um, and it was amazing. It was truly like Cynthia Erivo, Jeff Goldblum acting. It's amazing, truly. And then we go to a scene where Elphaba and Fiero are doing the nasty, and I want to talk about this. Okay, so I just found it funny how Elphaba is seducing Fiero in this. They're singing about how they're in love and stuff like that. They're gonna sleep together, and the funny thing is, Elphaba has her like raggedy, like I mean, obviously it's like a hot scene, right? And Elphaba is dressed funny. She has this cardigan where it's like so raggedy, but she's like being all seductive. I don't know what was the point of me saying this, but I feel like you just had to see the scene because it's so funny. It's like seducing this man with like a raggedy ass cardigan with like full confidence, and then at the end of the like sex thing, she's like, I actually feel wicked. um, so yeah. The next thing is a house falling down on Nessa. I found it funny because when I was watching the scene, I was so into the movie, and I remember because I hate Nessa Rose, and I could not wait for that house to fall, and I remember seeing the whole scene and stuff like that. And in cinema, everyone was silent. I don't know what compelled me, but everyone, it was cinema, blah blah blah, and like I could tell that the house was falling, and I just went. And I don't know, I apologize if you were in the cinema with me, but that was just so satisfying. That house fucking like slamming on Nessa. And like I said, I probably scared half of the theater because they were like so in the scene. But yeah, here we go. Now we're gonna have problems again with John M. Chu. This is just a John M. Chu hate video, so yeah. So on Broadway, when No Good Deed, as we know, No Good Deed is like is it the best song? I think it's the best song in the second act. So on Broadway, it's a very good transition. I would say Broadway did it way better than, in this scene, in this song particularly. So like you have Glinda being dragged and she's screaming Fiero, while like Elphaba, I'm describing the Broadway, while the Elphaba is like, there's a trapdoor and like she's rising up, and then like the scene is like shifted where now we're in the Kiamako Castle, and then you hear now, so you see Glinda screaming Fiero, and then it transitions to Elphaba screaming Fiero, and then No Good Deed starts. This is very important because like it makes the song so much more powerful and like so much more emotion into the song. And like I said, why did you want to cry on like No Good Deed? This song is like a very emotional song. This song is basically a representation of Elphaba giving up. This is like I've been working my whole life for this. This is like something that I believe in, something that I spent my whole life doing, trying to achieve for a bunch of ungrateful people. And you know what? I'm just gonna quit. Like, fuck everyone. Fuck you. I don't want to say like, oh, you wanted me to be a wicked witch. Now you're gonna see a wicked witch because she didn't do anything bad. And after this scene, she didn't do anything bad. So I just really wish that we saw the screaming parts. There were a lot of talks on TikTok. Some people were so confused. I just like, I am a big fan of Wicked, and seeing people who are not big fan of Wicked commenting on something, it's like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Like, you don't know shit. You saw a trailer, you saw the first part, and now you think you know everything. Like, shut the fuck up. Anyway, in the movie, Glinda screams Fiero, and Elphaba does not scream. We see her like flying in the Kiamako. Actually, we, the camera, are flying through the Kiamako castle, and then we see Elphaba. She just opens a book in a very good manner, with like levitation or whatever, and she starts singing No Good Deed. But I hate that there was no screaming, because like, there wasn't like emotion in the beginning, like in the first part of the song. Cynthia Erivo's version was, in my opinion, a bit better than Idina Menzel's. I like both parts. I'm not gonna say, oh, this version is better than this one. Both versions have good and bad, okay? I think the movie would have just good parts if I directed it, or if John didn't direct it. That's the main point. Yeah, at the end of the day, it sucks. That we didn't have screaming. Cynthia's singing was amazing. I felt emotion in the cinema. I felt, what's her name? Elphaba. I felt Elphaba just like giving up and be like, I can't. I cannot do this anymore, and it's really crushing, you know. And you know, specifically going through this like weird period of my life where Wicked is kind of relatable to a certain extent, I guess. Um, the movie is. Also, sorry about that. Let's rewind for a second. Before the house fell on Nessa, I forgot to mention something. The fact that Glinda suggested it, and I know Glinda wasn't responsible for the house falling on, but you can tell, like in that scene, she was not she was destroyed, of course, because her man left her, but of course the man that she was practically, you know, as sane, but she wanted this. She really wanted to have revenge on Elphaba, and even though she technically didn't drop that house on her, I feel like she's equally responsible. And people on threads who are saying like, oh, it's okay, because there are so many people who defended Glinda. It's sickening. In the cinema, I was like, I really wanna like Glinda. I'm even watching like, you know, the second movie, and like the more I'm watching both movies, the more I hate her. And I love the character, the ditziness of it all, but at the end of the day, she's an evil character, I'm sorry, and she is wicked, and no one mourns the wicked, because, you know, she's alone. She's the wicked one. I mean, duh. So, I just really, when I saw, like, Glinda, like, crying and be like, oh, use her sis, disgusting, I'm like, you did this to your best friend, I don't care. Oh, she stole her man, whatever. People saying, like, Glinda lost everything. She's in a palace, enjoying like this horrible system that's oppressing other beings. Like, oh, she lost everything. What exactly did she lost? A fiance that never liked her? Oh, boo-hoo. Like, Elphaba lost literally everything. Not that she had like very little at the beginning, and she lost completely everything, which in my opinion was a much bigger fault than Miss Glinda over here. And Glinda gets a pass. Of course, I am going to acknowledge that the audience is racist because Elphaba is played by a black character, and I just love. I don't know. This makes sense to me, but like, I know that I'm not opposed to like race swapping, and like the Netflix of it all, and I know we had like Black Glinda and White Elphaba or whatever, but in my brain, in my like story viewing and stuff like that, Glinda is supposed to be a white woman. And Elphaba was supposed to be a black woman. So this movie really nailed it on the head. Yeah, yeah, seeing the way people treat Cynthia with her masculinization, which really stems from racism, and just like making fun of Cynthia, which by the way, I don't know why, because Cynthia is equally feminine as Ariana, but you know, one is demonized and the other isn't. I just really find it disgusting, but I have to remember that not everyone is like a Wicked, who is going to see Wicked and talk about Wicked is not a Wicked fan. They're just commoners, normies, you know, spectators. But it just really, that's kind of the point of Wicked, and it really just ran over their heads. In the cinema, you know the scene where the house falls down and Glinda and Elphaba are like slapping each other. And then someone slapped Glinda slapped Elphaba, and people in the audience, someone next to me was like, "Uh-huh, you go, girl." And I was like, "What? Like, you go what? Like, she killed her sister, and she slapped her, and suddenly, like, she is you know? That doesn't make sense." You go. What do you mean you go, girl? And every time like Elphaba would do something, silence in the audience. But every time like Glinda would do something, they're like, "Yes, oh my God, yes, Glinda, yes, Ariana." It's like, but she's the evil one. Are you guys like taking notes? And don't come with the she's a complex her growth. Yeah, that's true, of course. But we must not acknowledge like the evilness in Glinda. Obviously, at the end of the movie, she becomes good. We're gonna talk about that, but she is wicked. She's evil. Sorry that you're Ariana evil, but that's the point. Wicked is not a happy movie. Like I said at the beginning of the video, it's a sad movie where everyone ends up alone, depressed. You know. Anyway, where was I? Sorry about the whole shifting. I don't like to like write scripts because I've wrote scripts for videos before and it was so sterile. Anyway, we see this little bitch, what's her name, Dorothy, come in, and I really don't care. People are saying like, oh, poor Dorothy, Alphaba shouldn't have captured her. Dorothy never questioned why is the Wicked Witch wicked. It was just two women pinned against each other. You know, she just blindly followed the wizard. I just don't like bitches who can like use her heads. Use her head. Yeah, you. So yeah, don't care about Dorothy. Do not care about the Cowardly Lion. You know what? Shout out to what's that girl name from TikTok, Nirupan. She says, "Oh, we're eating a curry lion." She's from Nepal, so she probably knows how to make that. You know, good. So yeah, we're gonna eat curry lion definitely. Fuck that lion. Fuck the Tin Man. And fuck Dorothy. Don't care. Oh, we get a scene with the witch hunters. Oh, this is a very good scene. This is where we see Ethan really demolish it. Like, this scene was scary. You could see hatred in his eyes. Glinda, obviously, people were saying like, oh, did she recognize him? She recognized. She did. And really, truly great acting. I have nothing to say. I just like want to hold space for a second for this like acting scene. The song was amazing. Although I hate again John Chu, horrible director. He cut Madame Marble's part where in the song she's screaming like, "Good fortune, witch hunters." So I wish Madame Marble would scream that. So I know I'm like talking about like these little details, but that's what makes the musical. That's what makes a great song. This is a good movie, but this is what makes great movie. You know, great movie. This is what makes the movie great. Okay. So yeah, it's just like Ethan singing and stuff like that. The crowd chanting, amazing. Extremely well seen, well done by the actors. And I want to talk about Fanny and Shen Shen. I know, right? So I like that. If you've noticed, and this is only 3 seconds, where even when they saw March of the Witch Hunters, even they were like, "This is fucked up. Like this is too much. Like this is." Which is funny because Fanny and Shen Shen are like bullies, and even they are like, okay, this is too much fascism for me, you know, which, you know, even like if we're gonna reference the books, they're even more villainous. But yeah, even I want to say even the villains, quote unquote, the bullies. I wouldn't say the villains. The bullies even get to recognize how, okay, this is too, you know, and this is just like seeing all these stupid ass munchkins really like reminds me of my country because I live in like Eastern Europe. We have a Wizard of Oz, which is our dictator. We don't have an Elphaba. We have a Glinda. We have, you know, the Ministry of Propaganda and stuff like that. And all people living in my country are a bunch of stupid ass munchkins. So watching that movie is like, you know, it's like I'm looking at my life, you know. That's what I'm saying. Like there are a lot of parallels to this movie. Glinda sees that and sees that it's basically not too late, but like even she is like, okay, the situation has went crazy. We have this new song, which is like A Girl in a Bubble. I do think this is the song they're gonna submit to the Oscars, and I assume that this song is going to win an Oscar. We shall see though. This song, you know, it's okay. Some people say it's written for Ariana. Sure, I don't know if I agree 100%. It's an okay song, a ballad, yet another ballad. But I think a lot of people can relate. You know, even yours truly was a girl in a bubble sometimes, and maybe still is for certain aspects. That, you know, she recognizes that the bubble needs to pop, and you know, sometimes in life you just need to do uncomfortable stuff, which is something that I'm doing right now. But no, I want to get a podcast someday, so I need to get comfortable with like doing all this. So you guys intimidate me. Well, not you guys, but you know, the camera. or not the camera. What really is intimidating me? I don't know. The lack of funds to be professional, I guess. I'm not like scared of talking to a camera. But anyway, she confronts Madame Marble, and Madame Marble, Wicked Witch, tells her like, "Sit your stupid ass down. This is what you wanted, Galinda," and and basically, yeah, like this is the bed that you made. You know exactly what you were getting into, and um, you're basically contributing to the system. You are a part of the system. So, what exactly are you trying to pretend you're better than everyone else? And in that moment, Glinda is like, "Oh my God, this bitch is for real," and she's like, "Okay, I need to like do fix my wrongs." And she's trying to, she's taking the Fiero's horse, by the way, fun little nugget for people who didn't know, to go and warn Alpha. She did warn her though about about the whole witch hunters, and we get a scene where Alphaba is like, "Monkey, find that Dorothy," blah blah blah, and then her screaming at Dorothy like, "Oh, for us sakes, shut the fuck up." I just think that scene was so fun, like trying to make Alphaba evil, and Cynthia like acting evil because like her character is not evil, but it's just chef's kiss. Truly, the actors were so good. John M. Chu does not deserve them. I'm sorry. Okay, so before we go to the famous scene, like for good scene, I want to talk about the whole Ariana / Glinda situation. I know that John didn't initially cast Ariana as Glinda because she was a famous pop star, but he did. And I think because Ariana is such a big pop star, that's why I think people love Glinda. Maybe I'm crazy. I might be crazy. But before the Wicked movies, when we were talking about just Broadway, Glinda didn't really have fans. Like, am I crazy? I feel like Glinda did not have fans. Elphaba was always the main star, and now experiencing the whole For Good movie and both movies, everyone is like, I feel like Glinda is more popular than Elphaba, which casts a shadow on the cause that Elphaba is trying to do, on Elphaba itself, it's just like, it creates I don't know, it creates a stupid environment. That's why a lot of things went over their heads, because like when people look at the movie, they're like, "Oh, Ariana." No, it's not Ariana, it's Glinda. And you should not hail her because she is Ariana. You should look at her as Glinda, separate from Ariana. And that's why I think, like, you're doing. This is the only, I guess, decision where I'm not gonna criticize John Chu. You're doomed if you do, you're doomed if you don't. So, like, if you don't cast Ariana, the movie wasn't probably going to be as big as it was. I'm just going to be real. And because you cast her, you're going to have these Arianators looking at Ariana and Ariana only. So, hey, it is what it is. So we get the No Good Deeds. Oh my goodness, For Good scene. Is it emotional? People were crying. The girl next to me was so crying. I felt like I was gonna get wet from her tears. I did not cry, not because I'm not emotional or stuff like that. I didn't cry because I'm sorry, but you kind of did this. Of course, Glinda is not the only person to blame, but you, homegirl, you kind of did this to yourself. And I don't blame Elphaba for being like, no one can ever know that we're alive. Sorry, Glinda cannot know that we're alive. Look at her. I mean, you give her a little power and she becomes truly evil. I would do the same as Elphaba. I would not risk it. Maybe she would come for that desert, for me, I feel like she wasn't a good friend to Elphaba. She does become good, of course. I don't want people to think that I'm a Glinda hater. She does become good. But at the end, when she finally learns her lesson, like through all the hardships, by that time it's too late, but she becomes good, so hey, Anyway, I do not feel sadness about this. Hey, I mean, you did this to your friend, so. Also, her being so much in the system that she believed in the propaganda of Elphaba could be destroyed by water. Okay, so I want to talk about this scene where the closet scene, obviously. Is it a metaphor? We don't know. But I like the scene where we get we only see the shadows like in Broadway, but we hear this. What is this, like a is it the word chorus or a cappella of people singing, and like Alphaba allegedly done. That was just like such a like well seen, but not thanks to John M. Chu, because he did not invent this. The Broadway did. So, but yeah, I just want to acknowledge it as, you know, Dorothy, being the dumb bitch she is, you know, just takes the broom and be like, nah, 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 nah. I mean, what can you expect from a character like that? So, okay, I cannot believe this, but you know how YouTubers are like, oh my god, my camera stopped working, and you're like, how can you be so unprofessional? My camera just stopped working. Not only that, because I know that this is what happens to like YouTubers. I have a second camera that's recording, right? Guess what? It's dead. It's dead. Both cameras died. So I have no clue what I just like said. Okay, but anyways, I'm not gonna repeat myself. I was talking about For Good scene, and is this even recording? I guess it is. Anyway, I want to talk about a parallel scene where Glinda is talking with Mad Marble, and Glinda is like, of course, Mad Marble is trying to save her ass. Glinda played it. This is the scene where Glinda truly, like, now you can like hail her. She played it very well when she said to Mad Marble, she repeated the same words that Mad Marble told her. She was like, oh, you know, we have cages, but blah blah blah, I don't think you will like do well in them. Which is basically like, my personal opinion is, you do not have what it takes, or something like what she said to her in the first movie, she repeated to Madame Marple in the second movie. For the Wicked fans, I know you know what I'm saying, so this is a very good Easter egg that I caught. I mean, not I, but a whole internet, but hey, you know. So that's a really good scene. And then here, now we have another scene that I feel like one of my favorite, is where Glinda finally emerges as like the Glinda that I like. A character which is like, went through a lot of pain, now she lost everything, okay? And now she's like, okay, I understand what it means to be good, evil, and I've been a very bad person, and I need to fix my wrongs. And we see that scene where she like takes the tiara, puts it on her head, she flicks, you know, her wand, and she's like, you know, she's like carrying that wand like she's ready for war. She gets on her little bubble, and we see the Munchkin land and stuff like that. So love that growth. That's the Glinda that I like. That's, you know, now we have, you know, the Glinda. This is the Glinda you can like, not the bitch one. So now I just want to talk about the book scene. So Glinda comes after, of course, she pretty much becomes a dictator and takes charge of Oz, which is good because I guess she's a better person now. So now she's gonna rule Oz with kindness. Okay, so she takes the Grimory, because Elphaba gave her, and she goes to the Defying Gravity balcony, I don't know, and she starts this like operatic singing for good, and the book opens. So this is open to interpretation. A lot of people have different interpretation, and as a super fan myself who went on like a rabbit hole and stuff like that, Elphaba does not give Glinda her power, because that's what people said. No, because Grimory opens to like the people who are good. That's why it opened for Elphaba and stuff like that. The Grimory opened for Glinda now because now she became Glinda the Good. Okay, and what now? There was a specific spell that opened, right, with two hands, which is like a healing spell. You know, people are saying that that is the like, because Elphaba is still connected to the Grimory in some sort of capacity. So allegedly, according to my research, Elphaba knows now that Glinda is worthy of using the Grimory, and I guess, she flips through the page where it's a self-healing spell or a healing spell where Glinda can like heal her broken heart or whatever is said in that popcorn um, box. For the real fans, you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, this is how we end Wicked. This is how, everyone is depressed basically. Alphaba gives up. We're not going to talk about the books because the books are even more disturbing and depressing. Fiyero is now a scarecrow. Glinda, yes, she is a leader. She's, Glinda the Good, but she's alone. She has no friends. She has no lovers. Nessa's dead. Bok is still a Tin Man. I'm trying to see if anyone gets a happy ending. Madame Marble, the Wizard. Yeah, that's what I said. Wicked is not a happy movie. No one. That's it. No one gets a good, ending. Listen, that's how it is, and it's a very, very good movie about politics. This is a movie about politics, and if you saw the movie just because, ooh, princesses and witches and what else, magic. This is not a Harry Potter movie. Like, this is a political movie, and this is not a kids movie. It's a very deep movie, like worthy of analysis and stuff like that. So, yeah, overall, this is a very good movie. I would rate it 10 out of 10 if I can, rate movies and stuff like that. I do have a problem with John and Chu, but everything other than him was truly amazing. And I have nothing to add except, the whole musical thing and certain finesses in the movie. But that's it. Overall, great movie.